All right.
Let's get it.
Episode number 8.
It's 8. We've been here for 8 episodes. Have you been watching?
They're going to be now. It's just getting better.
It is.
The ball's getting rolling.
Yes. Stella's got her groove back, but we're getting into our groove.
I don't know who that is. Generation.
Boomer. She's gonna be like boomer. So episode 8, today
We're making Caesars.
Yeah.
You could probably have already guessed that. I'm wearing my Canadian tuxedo, and with the way the world is right now, let's do it. Let's make the traditional Canadian cocktail.
Yes, and we did buy Canadian sourced alcohol.
Of course, absolutely. Everything you see here.
And then we're going to talk about dollars and cents, brass tacks. We're going to talk about buying in your budget. And we're going to talk about listing your home appropriately price-wise. So great topics.
That's
for
the
today.
important stuff.
I think so.
Yeah.
It really comes down to money on both sides. So
Yeah.
it's good to know what you're doing.
Those are my 2 favorite
Have a
things.
plan.
Caesars and money.
Ooh.
Let's get it. All right, first thing, we are going to ram our glass with a Caesar. 2 ways you can do it. Bartender hack is you dump it underwater real quick. It's a big chunk of rimmer. That's not classy on film.
No.
So we have our limes.
We're gonna do
They're
it this way.
pre-sliced. Gonna give it a little jobby
She does
here.
so much prep work for these shows for you guys, and I just get to come here and be like, show me the ways, and I'm gonna sip this cocktail when it's done.
Have a good drink. We have this spicy Mott's rimmer today with a little extra Himalayan salt. It wasn't salty enough for me. I like
This
my rimmer
is my
thick.
favorite part of a Caesar is the rim.
Yes. I think with any rimmed cocktail, I'm just
Yeah.
enjoying it the whole time awkwardly. So that's rimmed.
Okay.
Now we're going to add our ice right into the glass.
We're not shaking today.
There's no shaking in these guys today.
Perfect.
This was embarrassing me, it was stuck. Now, here's where we're finding our flavors. We have our Worcestershire and our Tabasco. If somebody wants a dirty or a muddy Caesar, they want Worcestershire. If they want spicy, Tabasco. Just kind of play around with those flavors. I like a little spicy, so I'm gonna go 3 or 4 big wham bams right in there.
I'm spicy enough. Pour this
With love, shaking
Okay.
in
I
till it
do
feels right.
love Worcestershire. And then just a dainty tap of this. That's
Yep.
enough.
Perfect, little flav.
Okay.
Now you're gonna add 2 ounces of vodka right on top of that.
Did you pre-measure?
I did. Too in a little love though. It was for you.
It's Thursday.
It is Thursday. Now, Mike and Steve's Extreme Beans.
Yes.
It is not a Caesar without these.
Is that spicy again?
They're like a little spicy, but they're not super spicy. And these guys are Canadian as well. They made this in their kitchen. They were bartenders. They're now doing
Amazing.
fabulous. So again, I don't know. So I'm gonna add a little bean right in here into my glass, but I'm also, while I do this, I'm just gonna give it a tiny little pour, a little extra flavor.
She says tiny. She's like,
3 gallons.
it's really in there.
I know, they get jammed up. Beautiful, little tap. And then we always make sure our clamato juice is shaken up because it really sits on the bottom.
I can't remember if I did that or not.
I think you did it and I did it, but just some extra care. Nothing's worse than a
little
watery
love.
Caesar. So good.
This stuff is so easy just to pick up at the grocery store.
Literally.
There's no, oh, you're gonna squeeze a lime in that?
So I always serve it with a lime on the side,
Yes.
obviously, and then you just give it a little squeeze in before you drink it. But for presentation purposes, you need it on the side.
My OCD is
We
not
need a
gonna be able
napkin.
to handle this, so I'll be distracted looking at the counter the whole time.
Absolutely.
Can't even cheers. There's a problem with me.
We're good.
I feel better about that now. I mix it up with my bean. Cheers.
Feels like vacation. It feels like the drink you have at the airport. You have to have the Caesar when you're leaving.
It feels like brunch.
Yes, this, then the mimosa. Perfect.
Yes, this is so good.
Love it.
And it's like the cusp of spring is coming, so you can just picture yourself sipping on one of these outside on the deck, sun's on your face.
You're at your new home with a
Yeah.
Caesar. We're there, you've invited us. I'll make all your drinks.
I always say to people, I can't wait to come back and see you're done with the place.
Right?
I will bring the drinks.
And it's actually my favorite message to receive when someone sends me something that they've done to their home. Hey, look what I did, or
Yeah.
hey, I'll come over. I'm right there. I
Yeah,
love it.
Love that.
So fun.
What are we chatting about today?
We're talking about the money of it. How to shop within your budget. And particularly in this market, in your budget, because that's different.
It is different. I think that if this was 6 years ago, 5 years ago even, you have a better expectation of houses selling for what the house is listed for in around that range. So it's much easier, but it's such a broader experience now.
It's a little wild, but
Yeah.
fun. So I'd say 20 years ago, at a parent's ages maybe, you had your pre-approval from your bank. You're like, you are allotted, well, that day it was different, but you're allotted $280. You scroll on Realtor, you find a house for $280 or under, maybe even a little over, you go and you make an offer.
Right.
You can buy it. That's where you should be looking. Now, it's a little bit different. If you have your pre-approval, whatever your range is,
Yep, let's say your pre-approval is up to 350.
Where should you be shopping?
We should be shopping around the 300 mark.
250 to 300. Because the homes right now with the multiple offers, they're going 60 to 80 over.
They are.
Consistently.
That market is still very hot in that price range for
Snack
sure.
market.
Snack market. I think that when you start to get over, right now, when you start to hedge over the 556 range, there's less of that big jumps.
Right.
There are still some on things that are like hot commodity, but definitely if you're anywhere in between the 200 to the 450, you should really expect that range when you're buying. And I think it's a hard conversation with people who are new to shopping in this market, trying to explain that gap.
Absolutely. Well, the house is listed at this price. It's 350. They only want 350. I'm going to offer them 350. But that's where the other part of this conversation comes into. That's not the price that they want. That's the price that they're listing the home for.
Right.
Which is huge as well.
So I think that it's your own sake when you are touring homes and you're looking at options. I think it's really important to know that if you're looking at something in the 270 range, when you go into that home, you need to be mentally comfortable to pay 330 for it, 340. Yeah. And if you're not, well, then it's probably just not the right spot for you, right?
Then that's not your budget. If you're in the 600 and above that, you can pretty much shop at that price. That's what it says. There's a little bit less competition. You're not getting into as many multiple offers. Your budget matches what your approval is, which is fine.
And that's only if it's a new listing that we're looking at that big span. If it's usually the listing period is a week long, they put the house on the market, they look at offers in a week. If they don't hit that mark, and the house has still been on the market, you can now come to expect that's probably the price range that the seller is looking for. Because a lot of times you'll see that homes that don't sell during a multiple offer come back and relist at the price they're looking for. And now you're like, oh, now I know what they're looking for. Now I know what to expect when I go in the home, that this is the price that we're looking to get.
Yes, it's a little more clear, a little more in your face. It's not that people are being disingenuous when they're listing their home with that initial price.
No.
They just want to get, and you should be doing this as well, if you are thinking of selling, is you need to price your home under what you actually do want to get that foot traffic into your home.
Right.
To get, rather than 10 people in your home and 3 people offering, you want 30, 40 people in your home. I promise you 16 to 25 of them right now are probably going to offer.
Yeah. So that brings us to pricing strategy when you're listing. So it's a conversation that we have with a lot of people that there's 2 ways to go about it. You can A, list your home for the price that you would like for it, that the market shows you your home is worth, right? That's also a big part, right? You can't make up this magical number and be like, I want $762,000 for my house that's worth $510.
Listen, me too, Paul. That's not happening today.
Not happening. So your good agent is going to run you comps in the area. We're going to look at comparables. We're going to do a spread of what's been selling in your region in the same dynamic of your home in the last little bit, and we're going to give you a market value price for your home.
Yes.
You can either list your home at that price, or you can put a competitive price on it to drive traffic. And the way of thinking about that is that if you list your home for $450 and you've got people who are only approved up to $450, you may lose some of those buyers because they may anticipate after the market that we've been in that your home is listed at $450. Love that. I would love to buy it for that, but that house is going to go over, so I'm not even going to bother coming in to look at it. So now you're losing foot traffic of people that maybe would convince themselves to spend a little more. If you price that same house around the $349 mark, now you've got all the people in that spread that are anxious to find something. They want to come in, they want to see it, they want to tour around, and now they're like, oh, this is a spot I have to have.
Yes.
How many offers are you expecting? 10. Great, we're looking at 10 offers. I got to put my offer price up to here if I even want a shot at getting that, right?
Exactly. And it changes on, even when you're shopping on Realtor, so that person that has that $450 budget initially, they're going to see that home and think, like you said, oh, that's going to go over. We'll stop there. But if you put that down to $350, you're getting a much larger pool that's going to be getting that. And then they get in that home, and maybe their budget is actually much more, but they were only shopping in that smaller range, and they get in there and they think, you know what, my mom offered to lend me $20,000, or I bet you if I call my mortgage lender, I could get an extra 10 or 15 out of them, and they usually can. So that's going to change that and bring it up just a little higher. Oftentimes we'll see homes that listed at what they wanted and got what they wanted, which is great.
Yes.
And then we'll see another home that listed competitively and got more than what they wanted.
Yes.
Of course.
And I think the same thing goes with, I've had a lot of people talk about listing private. Oh, we're going to try and list it privately. Well, you are entitled to do that for sure. But here's where you're missing the mark, is that you're not advertising to the masses. Posting your house on Facebook So your St. John region, where people have 60 kilometers and out in their search bracket, is not getting all those people all the way past Sussex, the people in Ontario, the people in Nova Scotia who maybe want to move here. You're not reaching all those people, and you're not advertising on a way where all the people are getting that listing in their email and seeing your house. So I've had a conversation a lot of times that people are like, oh, I wanted to list privately. And I've had in the past people list privately, not succeed, and then call us, and they actually got more in their pocket than they were going to sell privately for. Because you're now generating to the masses. We have a pricing strategy in place that we put into effect, right? And it's a tried and proven method.
It's there for a reason. Right. You can sell it privately and you're going to save 5%. Perfect. You want to list it with a realtor and you make 30 more than you were going to.
Yes, that's right.
It evens out.
Also, is that you're not tied to it. So if you do want to take the aggressive strategy of listing low to achieve that multiple offer and to get all those offers and to get that high price point, if we don't achieve it, and 95% of the time we do, if we don't, you don't have to accept an offer just because you receive one.
No.
At all. You can say, no, thank you. What we'll do if we don't meet that number is we then just relist. We don't relist, sorry, we increase the price to where we want to be and we let it sit. And a buyer will come. There's a house for everybody, right? So your house will sell and we will find a buyer for it. It just may take a little bit more time if we're really stuck on a certain price.
You see it happen frequently. Something happens, the offer falls through, or they didn't get what they wanted, they put it up, now you price they want too. If you're going in there as a buyer, after you've seen a price increase, you're good to offer something close to that number, which is wonderful for the buyers too. Works so great.
It all just comes down to money. Money makes the world go around. So do these Caesars.
Perfect. Cheers. Good soup.
I had like a mid-moment panic where I'm like, is it recording?
I thought that's rude.
Did I hit the button?